Yes, indeed, something very much should have happened. Like, at the very least, it should have told me if it was... Oh, there we go. A rust of energy flows through the ritual. So now, we just need to... And there it goes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more All the Mods 9. Today, we're gonna be getting into some blood magic. Now, as you can see right around me, I've set up the area for where we're going to be putting our altar. I've already laid out the layout for what it would be when it's tier 5, so that way we have a basic idea as to how the spacing's gonna go. And I did have to put this in the nether because I didn't have space for it at home, and well, for what I'm planning to do, it probably won't work in the mine dimension, so in the nether it is. First thing we need to do, we need to make ourselves the actual altar. So let's go ahead, craft that baby up. It's actually a lot simpler in this version than it was in freaking Inferno. And we can slap it right down there. There we go. We got ourselves our altar. But in order for us to use this, we first need to make ourselves this sacrificial knife. There we go. Now for those of you who know what this mod is, you know what time it is. For those of you who don't, hope you're not squeamish. I gotta prick all the blood out of my fingertips. The blood is gonna go down a little bit until we get a whole bucket inside of a backlog thing, because that's where this will pipe out from if we wanted to pipe this out anywhere else. Is this just not going to? Okay, no, there it is. Oh, because it's not done piping out. Okay, well, that should be more than enough for right now. So then next up, what we're gonna want is we're gonna want to grab ourselves a diamond. Just one diamond will do fine. Then we throw this in and it all begins to infuse. Now we can use our time in a bottle. So let's go ahead, speed this baby up just a little bit. And then we get ourselves the blood orb. We can go ahead and configure this to ourselves. And there we go. We have started our blood network. So now if I throw this back into here, it'll start to absorb the blood and put that into the blood orb and our blood network. But we don't need to do that just yet. What we really need to get, though, is some blank runes, which can be made with 1,000 life points or one whole bucket of blood, and also any sort of stone except for cobblestone. So I'm not using it for anything else, so it should work with tough. And, okay, I'm not sure I like all these people visiting the blood altar. I think I'm gonna need to set some religious regulations, but yeah, you get out of here. I sure hope there's some way to scare them, but there we go. We got ourselves our blank slate, and that should have been, oh, because it wanted me to make 2. Okay, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and make all of these into slates, and then I'll be right back.
Later.
Alrighty, I got all the blank slates. So now, with these babies, we can do something very special. We can go ahead and then make ourselves this thing right here called a blank rune. If I go ahead and make 8 of these. So if I were to go ahead, mine up this crap. Okay, that problem's all solved now. I need to learn to stop doing that. But now what we do is we just take these blank runes and then put them all around this baby. And now it's a tier 2 altar. So with the tier 2 altar, we can actually start making much more advanced slates, such as this reinforced one, where after making the blank slate with 1,000, if I use another 2,000 life points on that, we will get the next tier. But that's gonna require a good bit of blood. I don't like having to keep pricking my finger. It makes my finger feel all bad. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna make this dagger of sacrifice, which by making an iron sword and throwing in, we will get. And I should actually have just enough blood. So do I have an iron sword? Probably not, so we can just go ahead and make one, especially for our purposes right here. And let's just go ahead and speed this baby up a little bit. What this baby's gonna do is, rather than pricking my finger to get blood, well, why not just show you? Come here, piggies. Come here. Okay, now come here. Okay, so I'm gonna have you chase me, and then I'm just gonna slit ya. There you go. And I'm gonna need you to come a little bit closer. That's perfect. And now their blood has been added to the altar. It's beautiful. So that is the beauty of this thing, is that when you're around a blood altar, this thing is a one-shot kill. It's quite cool. It doesn't really fit well in the hand when you're in third person, but here, it looks just fine. So what we need to do then is we need to automate having mobs come over this blood altar, so that way we can then kill them. I have a way. I'll be right back.
Much later.
And here it is. So this is going to be our little setup. So right in here inside of this little tinted glass box, I brought over one of my villager spawners, and I had to change them over to adults because unfortunately the child one wouldn't work. So that is mildly unfortunate. What's also unfortunate is that I accidentally broke another one of them without using the silk touch. So I end up losing one of those as well. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. So what we've got here is we've got the villagers inside a little box with vector plates all around them to push them into here. And this thing is redstone signal set. So I have myself here a redstone link, so that way I can turn this thing on and off from right over here via this lever. No, not lever. Then the magic just happens. So we can just go ahead and turn this on for a little bit, just summon up a couple of those guys. That should be good. They get brought down here, and then with the power of the dagger of sacrifice, we sacrifice them. And thanks to the silent upgrade, none of their painful screams. Ugh, why do they always have to scream? Make it so dramatic. Ugh, you're just dying. It's not like you're gonna, well, actually, never mind. And we also got an item collector to pick up any loose items that they drop. So that's good. And the reason I use villagers is because I heard somewhere that villagers drop the most amount of life points. I don't know if that's true or not, but yay, you know, my blood altar is full through the testing, so you know what? I say it works out well enough. Next up on the agenda, we need to get ourselves the reinforced slates. Thankfully, because of this little setup we now have, we will be able to do that with the utmost ease. That is not the thing I wanted. We want this thing to go up a little bit more. And there we go. We got ourselves the reinforced slate. Beautiful. Now, with the reinforced slates, we're actually going to be able to go ahead and then upgrade some of these normal blank runes into runes of sacrifice, which will increase the amount of life points we get per kill. But if I want to equip those, I would have to change out some of these guys right up here. But I don't really like doing that. For some reason, I don't like using these top ones. I use them for like runes of speed, which will speed up the processes, which I really should actually make. They're not hard. They're just those runes, 2 blank runes. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and switch these out right now. There we go. All right, now that's all out of the way and done. So then, for the rest of these guys, whom we are going to make for sacrifice and probably capacity, because, well, those are going to come a bit later, but they're going to be necessary for when we want it. But we're actually going to need to go ahead and make ourselves a tier 3 blood altar. That is going to be done in a very simple way. We just need to change out these andesites right down here for some more of these runes, and then we need to change these ones up here for some glowstone, which I can actually go ahead and grab unless I actually have any. So I do have some. Okay, then I don't need to grab any at all. Now, all we need to do is just break down these top ones right here. I don't know if polished andesite does work for this, but if it does, we now have ourselves a tier 3 altar. Now, because of that uncertainty, why does it say I need 28? I don't need 28. Well, it'll do that when I make more runes later, but because I actually do need to know, there is something that we're gonna need to make. And that's this baby called the alchemy table. So if we go ahead and head on over here, the only thing we're missing is another rune, which is not a problem at all to make. So let's just go ahead, make one of those babies right here, speed it up a little bit. Oh crap, I didn't want that. Gotta be careful about speeding things up like that, because now that it's a higher tier, it can actually go over to the next levels. But there we go. We got ourselves an alchemy table, which we can go ahead and, we can put this pretty much anywhere. Let's go ahead and throw that baby right here. This way, we have this at the ready. Now, I'm gonna need to grab myself my blood orb, and then we're gonna wanna go ahead and put the rest of this blood inside of here, or at the very least, just a good bit of blood. That, it's actually taking longer. Why? I mean, I never really used the weak blood orb, so maybe it just takes longer for this baby. But you know what? That should be fine for right now. So next up, what we're gonna need is something called arcane ashes. So all we need to do to make these ashes is we just need to put our blood orb in there, and then put in redstone, gunpowder, white dye, and some coal or charcoal. I think it might actually need to be charcoal. Okay, no, it's just coal of any kind. Okay, that works. So then once this thing is done, it absorbs some of the blood, and then we get ourselves our arcane ashes. Beautiful. So now what we do is we take these ashes and just place them on the ground in a little circle right here. Then we can go ahead and throw redstone in there, and we get ourselves this little eye thing. Pretty cool, right? So now we throw in a blank slate, and it'll do this. Now we can speed this baby up, so that way we don't have to wait around for too long. And okay, I turn to the Old Mods team and the people who make blood magic and say, okay, I may have discovered a blood magic duplication glitch. Fascinating. I don't want these. I really just don't need those. Okay, but now what we do with our 1 divination sigils, we just go ahead and head over here. Okay, so there's a little thing. It's kind of cut off screen because of the way that my recording is laid out. I'm sorry, I cannot fix this. I've been looking for so long, but I haven't found any way. There's those little marks right there, the Roman numerals. You guys only get to see 2, but I do see a 3rd one. So we do, in fact, have a tier 3 blood altar, so these things do work. It doesn't look good, but it works. Now that we've done that, the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and then upgrade our slate once more. Now, the next upgrade for the reinforced slate is gonna take 5,000 life points. Fortunately, that's not very much, and I've also discovered that, the villagers are a little bit insane, because it seems like with each kill, I get 2 life essence buckets. So like, yeah, we currently got 2. So if I go ahead and kill this guy, okay, wait, now we're at 3. Now we're at 5. So it's a little inconsistent, but it's still a lot. Oh, and that was Avenging Spirit in there. Neat. So from here on out, things are gonna get a little bit dicey, because for the next blood altar, we're actually going to need to go to another dimension called the Hidden Realm. That is going to be a bit of a process. It's definitely going to be a bit of a process, but we are going to need to do it because we're going to need to do a lot of blood magic, pretty much all of it within, at the very least, 2 episodes. So that is going to be a bit of a challenge. So for us to get to the Endless Realm, we're going to need to actually start doing some rituals. Now, it appears that I cannot use the weak blood orb for these, so I'm gonna need to go ahead and make the next blood orb. That's fine. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Because this is gonna need to catch up a little bit, and I really don't appear to need the sacrifice runes, at the very least not right now, I'm going to go ahead and add some capacity runes to this, and I'm also gonna go ahead and grab some other stuff so that way we can get this started, because this is gonna take a bit.
Much later.
Okay, so for us to get the tier 3 blood orb, we just need to go ahead and throw this thing into here. This way we can go ahead and do all the next processes. And we are skipping the tier 2 because, well, it's not really required for the quest book. So if I can skip it, I'm gonna do that. So this thing should only require 25,000 buckets, which we are now up to being able to hold. Actually, we can hold even beyond that. So let's go ahead and just have this thing right here. And there we go. We got ourselves our Magician's Blood Orb. And yeah, the upgrading did go very well. So if I can go ahead and find my Divination Sigil, we can now actually hold 50,000 buckets, whereas before, I was only able to hold 10,000. So here we go. We now have this baby. We can go ahead and configure it to ourselves. And now, this thing is ready for all of its purposes, which is pretty much going to consist of doing more and more rituals. The next thing that we need to do, which is going to help us with the process of getting to the Hidden Realm, which I'll hopefully be able to do today. I might not, but we'll see what happens. We're going to need to go ahead and then make something special. In here, we're going to want to go ahead and put a string, and then we're going to grab a soul snare. We can go ahead and grab a second one. There we go. I'm pretty sure that actually the quest will call for 3. It does. So I am going to need to call upon the power of a little bit more blood. You know, just a small bit. You should suffice. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. I'm actually going to want to keep you because that's going to help me out quite a bit. So there we go. Now we have ourselves our third soul snare, which does give us the rest of the mission. So now we need to get something called Demon Will. How do we get Demon Will? Well, first and foremost, we're going to want to go ahead and break this baby because we don't want them to catch the stuff. So let's go ahead, throw this at this guy. Okay, we need to throw this at this guy. We need to throw this. I'm having a little bit of difficulties here. So let's go ahead and throw you there. Okay, and then from over here, throw this at these guys. There we go. And now they're releasing particles. So now I can go ahead and kill them and there it is. Demon Will. So with this Demon Will, we're gonna be able to make several things, but we can't have this thing on its own. Because like this, it's not really gonna help us very much, except for getting the things that we're gonna need to where it will help us very much. So then, what we next need to do is we need to make this thing called the Hellfire Forged. So now, what we need to do is inside of this forge, we go ahead and put lapis, gold, redstone, and glass. And if we have enough will, which we do, we can go ahead and make ourselves a tartaric gem of the petty variety, which is very, very good. So what this baby will do is whenever we drop one of those demon wills, it will then store it inside of this gem, which is very, very nice. However, we don't actually want to use that one just yet because we are actually going to need to make another one of these and mix it with an iron sword to make this thing called a sentient sword. Alrighty, second tartaric gem acquired, and we still do have a little bit of demon will. So will this be enough? It's actually enough! Okay, there we go. How much does that take? Oh, it just needed the presence. Okay, sick. So neat, we didn't need that at all. Aha! Okay, so we can go ahead and throw that down there. And then we go ahead and absorb that into our tartaric gem. That's good. But why did we need the sentient sword? The sentient sword basically acts as those soul snares where whenever we kill things with these, they will automatically drop the demon will without me having to make more soul snares. So it just saves me on a lot of time and a lot of blood. Now, ultimately, for us to complete this whole thing, I'm pretty sure I am actually going to need to get the greater tartaric gem, which I won't be able to do until I go to the hidden realm, and possibly even the endless realm, which is beyond that. It is entirely possible that I'll be able to settle with common though, which is good, and that is actually something I'm able to acquire with my current set of items. So that'll be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself the tier 3 gem, and then we're gonna go ahead and start working towards getting to the hidden realm.
Much later.
Alrighty, we got the tartaric gem all the way to common. Turns out that the peaceful mobs don't drop any of the demon will whenever you use the sentient sword. So I had to go and hunt a lot. Thanks to the power of dungeons, that actually wasn't that problematic, but it still took me about an hour or so. So yeah, now that was still very annoying, but now that we have ourselves the tartaric gem up to common, we're going to be able to do the things we need to progress through the demon realm. So the first thing that we're going to need is we're going to need to make the ritual itself. To get this, we're going to need these things here called ritual stones, which are made from 4 obsidian, a blood orb, and 4 of the reinforced slates, which is the tier 2. And for every ritual, there's always 1 master ritual stone, which takes 4 of these ritual stones, and also more obsidian. So for this particular ritual, excluding the master ritual stone, so that way we can actually get all the runes together, I'm gonna need 40, with 4 of those going into the master stone. But before we even go down that route, we are actually going to need to make something else in order for us to be able to do these rituals. And that is known as the ritual diviner. So what it is it's going to be this stick that's a combination of these inscription tools. We've got ones for different elements, air, water, earth, and fire, and they use the gas tier. This lapis right here, and then this obsidian, and then also going to be the magma cream. There we go, we got the last one. So now we go ahead and make ourselves the ritual diviner right there. There we go. This thing will be important for later once we're actually starting to make the rituals. And then we're also going to need to make this activation crystal, which is just to make this lava crystal, which we already have pretty much everything for except the buckets of lava. So I'm going to get all that. I'm going to get all the ritual stones. And then we're going to go ahead and make this ritual to go to the Endless Realm. Not the Endless Realm, the Demon Realm. Endless Realm is probably not today.
20 minutes later.
Okay, I managed to get all the ritual stones. It took me a little bit, but we finally got them. So, what we do, we put the Master Ritual Stone right here. We break this thing because it's going to get in the way. And the rest of this might get in the way too. We'll see what happens. But what we do is we take a Ritual Diviner, and then we need to... Okay, apparently it innately starts on Hidden Realm. That's good. So now, we just take this, and with all our runes, we just right-click this thing, and then it starts to take out all our runes, and it builds the altar for us. So, there we go. Now it's all ready and raring. And it was just shy of hitting that thing, too. Ah, that is beautiful. So now, we take this weak activation crystal, with 80,000 life points. We have 90,000, so we're all over that. And then we just go over to this and and now we just need to push onto this with our weak activation crystal, and maybe I shift click it. Something should have happened. Yes, indeed, something very much should have happened. Like, at the very least, it should have told me if it was... Oh, there we go. A rust of energy flows through the ritual. So now, we just need to... And there it goes. Alrighty. So now we have the inversion pillar, which, once right-clicked, will take us to the Hidden Realm. Let us go. We won't spend too much time here, though, because if my recording is beginning to break, that means that my time is running out. So... We're gonna need to just go in. Okay. Alrighty, place looks nice, we don't have anywhere else to go because we haven't really opened anything up yet. So let's go ahead and open this thing here. And we have one key. Okay, well, because of that, we do actually get another key, which is very nice. So to make the keys, they're actually not terribly expensive. It just takes an imbued slate, redstone, 2 iron ingots, and a common tartaric gem. This is one of the reasons why we needed that. So we go ahead and open this baby up. It should do something. Oh, this is interesting. I never seen this one in the Hidden Realm before. I think I might have seen this one in the Endless Realm, but now they're the Hidden. Huh. Oh, I got some diamonds here. I'll take those. So what we're looking for is we're looking for something called Tau Fruit. If we can find the Tau Fruit, then we can leave this place and never come back. Is there Demon Will in there? Wait, is there Demon Will in there? That can't be right. I think that's just the way it looks. There can't be Demon Will in there. Okay, so there's none of that in there. Where did you come from? Where'd you boys come from? Is the wall thick? The wall's not thick. Where did they actually come from? I don't know. We'll just leave it at that. That's interesting. Okay, there's also a bunch of iron behind here as well. Is there potentially any demonite behind here? Ah, that's where you guys came from. Ah, I understand everything now. Okay, so there wasn't any demonite behind there though, which was to be expected. I really don't expect to get any demonite until after I've gone to the Endless Realm, which demonite is something that'll help me for tier 5. So let's go ahead and head on over to this room. Okay, well, I know there actually should be some Tau in here. That's good. We also go ahead and get ourselves some Demon Will. Very nice. And let's go ahead and get rid of you. There we go. Okay, well, since we already have the Tau, we really don't need to stick around here anymore, so I won't really need to waste any more of my stuff on some keys, at least while I'm here. Our visit was short-lived but sweet, so we can just go on home. Well, not really home, more back to the Nether, because You know, I never really... Okay, so it does, but what I was gonna think was, like, I've never really built this in another dimension before. I was in the overworld, so I didn't know if it would take me back to the other inversion pillar, or if it would just take me back to the overworld. Clearly, it'd take me back to the inversion pillar, and my game's frozen again. Alright, so with this Tau, what we now need to do is actually very simple. We just need to grow it. Now, to answer why we need to grow it will be revealed very shortly. Why did it plant the hemp? What? What? Hold on. If I put the Tau here... Nope, now it's the wheat. What? Why is it doing that? Okay, I don't understand. I'm not gonna try to understand. We're just gonna go ahead and make a little crop circle right around here. And then we can go ahead and plant the Tau all around here. Now, I don't expect all this to grow in the way I want it to. And in fact, we've already lost the amount, but that's fine. So now what we do is we basically just wait over one of these to be able to get this thing to grow into a saturated Tau, which is the next version of the Tau. So while we're standing here waiting for this thing to hurt us and turn it into saturated Tau, alternatively mobs could also work, but you know what, this is fine. And the biggest thing I don't know is if this thing will be able to grow without a certain ritual. So it is definitely going to be a learning process. But it is going to be so much of a learning process to where I actually don't have the time. My computer is beginning to freak out, so I want to make sure I don't actually lose this, so we will have to complete this another time. So be sure to check out our last video where we did the Awaken Mystical Agriculture to advance further to the All the Mods star. Bye-bye!